Nevertheless, although you appear engaged in material activity, you are transcendental to all material qualities. Consequently, these transcendental activities of yours are extremely difficult to understand. Responsibly, please. O Lord, you need no support. And although you have no material body, you do not need cooperation from us. Since you are the cause of the cosmic manifestation and you supply its material ingredients without being transformed, you create, maintain, and annihilate this cosmic manifestation by yourself. Nevertheless, although you appear engaged in material activity, you are transcendental to all material qualities. Consequently, these transcendental activities of yours are extremely difficult to understand. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The Brahma Samhita 537 says, Goloka eva nivasati akalatma bhuta. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, is always situated in Goloka Vrindavan. It is also said, Vrindavanam parityaja padam ekam nagacchati. Krishna never goes even a step from Vrindavan. Nevertheless, although Krishna is situated in his own abode, Goloka Vrindavan, he's simultaneously all-pervading and is therefore present everywhere. This is very difficult for the conditioned soul to understand. But devotees can understand how Krishna, without undergoing any changes, can simultaneously be in his abode and be all-pervasive. The demigods are understood to be various limbs of the Supreme Lord's body. Although the Supreme Lord has no material body and does not need anyone's help, he is spread everywhere. Maya titamidam sarvam jagyad avyakta murtina. Nevertheless, he is not present everywhere in his spiritual form. According to the Mayavad philosophy, the Supreme Truth, being all-pervasive, does not need a transcendental form. The Mayavadis suppose that since his form is distributed everywhere, he has no form. This is untrue. The Lord keeps his transcendental form, and at the same time, he extends everywhere, in every nook and corner of the material creation. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminita Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharane Nirvasesha Sunyavadi Pastatade Satarane Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Panchakalpatarubhyashta kripa sindhubhyeva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. So I have something to beg from all of you. Because I have somewhat of a demigod consciousness. Like these are the demigods praying right now. And I don't like to look like a fool. You know, in the past I might have given a class or two that people appreciated, and I gave a class or two that people didn't appreciate. And some people appreciated the class I gave and some people didn't. So, if I get your undivided attention and your blessings and put out the desire from your heart that you want to hear Krishna's message, then Krishna within my heart will empower me to speak. And I'm praying for this because I'm in demigod consciousness. I don't want to look like a fool. So, because the demigods here, they are in danger. You know, there's this huge demon, Vritrasura, and they went. At first of all, they said, "Okay, let's just go attack him. We're going to take care of this guy. No problem. We have him far outnumbered." But what happened? Hare Krishna. They went, and he was totally unaffected. All their weapons and had absolutely no effect on him. So then, out of fear, they came and are begging to Lord Vishnu for help. So similarly, it's a very fearful situation sitting on this seat. You are in front of so many Vaishnavas that are directly in front of you, and there's a camera on me, and it's going all over the world, and it's being taped, and people can access this and watch me make so many mistakes. So I'm very fearful. So I'm praying to you to please be attentive and please from your heart cultivate the desire that you want to hear the message of the Bhagavatam in an unadulterated way. So then maybe Krishna will give me some mercy and purify my heart and remove my fear. It's called stage fright, and will allow me to say something that will be of mutual benefit. Don't think that when Sutta Goswami was speaking to the sages of Naimisharanya, which I can compare all of you and all of you in TV land as, there's so many sincere devotees. And the sincere devotees, they seriously take up the process for whatever age they may be situated in. Because different ages, different processes are recommended. And in this age of Kali, it's the chanting of the holy names. That's the primary. But there's 5 very potent processes mentioned in the Nectar of Devotion by Rupa Goswami. And attending Srimad Bhagavatam, hearing Srimad Bhagavatam is one of them. So this shows great sincerity, and it shows that the human form of life is being fully utilized, at least at this time of the day, by all of you. There's a difference. You have your sadhana. So you have your habitual habit of getting up early in the morning and chanting your japa and going to Mangalarti and chanting Gayatri and attending Kirtan and watering Tulsi Devi and hearing Srimad Bhagavatam class, offering flowers to Srila Prabhupada, paying your obeisances, and praying so sincerely throughout the morning. But what you will be in your next life will, what do you do the rest of the day? The demigods, they also have, they worship Lord Vishnu on a regular basis. It's mentioned every day. But they, throughout other parts of the day, they do so many other things also. I mean, in the Mahabharata, when Arjuna went to heaven and visited his father Indra, it's not that, you know, it was fully absorbed. He was fully absorbed in Srimad Bhagavatam. But there were dancing girls. Who was that Apsara that approached him? Huh? Urvasi. I mean, it's not that Urvasi was, you know, preaching Srimad Bhagavatam to Arjuna. Quite the opposite, actually. So, you know, the demigods, they have, it's called Karma Mishra Bhakti. That they are doing one thing, you know, for part of the day where they're fully, when they're absorbed in worshiping Krishna, they're worshiping Krishna. Just like right now. They're in danger. They're in difficulty. So, this is exactly what Queen Kunti prayed for. This is an example. Vipada Shantuta Shaspat Tacha Tacha Jigadguru Bhavatu Darshanam Yatshad Apuna Bhava Darshanam. She said, let these calamities happen again and again, so that we can see you again and again. For by seeing you means that we will no longer see repeated births and deaths. So the Pandavas, they had this like opportunity, as Krishna is their relative, Krishna is their friend, Krishna is their guide. He wore so many different hats, Krishna. And whenever the Pandavas were in difficulty and they prayed, Krishna would all of a sudden just kind of show up and rectify the situation. Like Draupadi, when she was being robbed of her garments by Dushasana, I mean, Krishna showed up. At first he didn't show up. But when she really wanted him and fully surrendered unto him and gave up on her own efforts in trying to keep her sari on her body, so to speak, trying to fight it, and just simply threw her arms up in the air and said, Krishna, you're in control. You do whatever you want. I'm surrendered unto you 100%. Krishna then very easily supplied an unlimited sari, and Dushasana was flabbergasted and defeated in his attempt to disrobe a woman. What a humbling experience for Dushasana, such a valiant warrior, and he can't even disrobe a woman. You know, that's quite a feat for Draupadi. She defeated Dushasana. So, this is the situation here. The next shloka in this first canto, 8th chapter, is Janmaisvarya Sutta Shrivir Edamana Badapuman Nai Badat Yabidat Tumvai Twam Akinchana Gocharam. That, first of all, Queen Kunti's saying, okay, let these calamities happen again and again. And because when these calamities happen, we pray to you and you show up. And when you show up and we see you, that means, when we see you, that means no more repeated birth and death. So then she says, one who is on the path of material progress, however, trying to improve himself with wealth, women, followers, etc., getting land, acquiring temporary possessions in this world, getting a good education, all the different endeavors people undergo to try to, make themselves comfortable in this material world. If someone is like fully absorbed in this, then you can never approach Krishna with sincere feeling. Okay, is everyone awake here? The reason I'm saying is this because I have a problem too. I've always had a problem of falling asleep in Srimad Bhagavatam class, so I'm admitting it to all of you, and if anyone is falling asleep, please wake up, because I need your help, okay? And because if you're attentive and you want to hear, then Krishna will empower me and I won't get embarrassed, because I'm in demigod consciousness, all right? So, this is the consciousness of the demigods. They, put this aside, this, endeavoring for, this janma, aishvarya, opulence, and everything like that. And they're right now, because they're in trouble, they've set it aside, and they're fully absorbed in worshiping Krishna. So in Kali Yuga, we're always in a precarious situation. It's not very nice out there. I mean, we're in a minority. Those of us that are pursuing spiritual life. And if you walk down the street of New York or Kansas City or Moscow or Stockholm, Sweden, or Tokyo, Japan, or Tel Aviv, or wherever your home country may be, even Bombay now, and you're wearing a dhoti and you're wearing tilak and you got chanting beads in my hand, you are in a vast minority. And you can be ridiculed. People will think who's this idiot? Wearing a pink dress, or wearing this, one time I was in Hawaii at a shopping mall, and I was going up an escalator, and some young guy goes, "Rad! Look at his hairdo, man! Far out!" That was, because he had pink hair and it was spiked up, and so then I was accepted by him. You're accepted by those who are unacceptable, in other words. So, we're not in a very comfortable position here in Kali Yuga. And we have to be very bold, and we have to be very firm in our determination, and we have to be very strong in our practices in spiritual life. And until you have a real taste for chanting the holy name and hearing the Srimad Bhagavatam, you have to take it like medicine. And medicine, it doesn't always taste good. Usually it doesn't. Sometimes it does. Sometimes you just like today, I'm getting old. I'm almost 60 years old this year. I'm going to turn 60. And I'm feeling this real lack of energy. So I'm getting all these blood tests done, and things. And today the guy came and took my blood, and then after he took my blood, for medicine, I had to drink glucose for the blood sugar test. Now that was good taste in medicine. That's sugar, basically. So, but then generally medicine tastes very bitter, like neem, and like tripala. It doesn't taste very good. So until you get the purity of your heart, getting up early in the morning and putting your hand in your bead bag might be quite a chore, and it might taste like neem. But gradually, as time progresses, if you keep it up, it will taste like glucose. And then you don't need to look at the clock anymore. You don't need to set an alarm to get up in the morning. You don't need to force yourself to get to Mongol Artik and stand like this before the deities and somehow or other chant the samsara prayers and do everything else that we do. Because you want to do these things. You'll have a taste for it. And when you're on that platform, you're no longer in demigod consciousness. Then throughout the day, that's all you're doing also. You're reading the Srimad Bhagavatam, or you're going to preaching programs and giving lectures on spiritual life, encouraging other people in spiritual life, or you're worshiping your deity in your home and praying to your deity, cooking for your deity, whatever. So many different varieties according to, we all have different natures and inclinations. So then but when you're in demigod consciousness on planet Earth, what you do after the morning program, go on CNN, go on the video games. Do you go on video games? Wow, you're a devotee. You're not a demigod, are you? Okay, very good. Or you go to the store and, get some ingredients and with a lot of sugar and with some, the purpose and the desire mind that I'm going to make some preparation that's going to taste very good for my tongue. Not Krishna's tongue, my tongue. You offer it to Krishna, but the real purpose, the real thrust is that you want to enjoy yourself. So that will go away, because you'll just understand that eventually this is a useless waste of time. Shrama evi kevalam. This endeavors to try to enjoy separately from Krishna in relationship to this material body is quite a futile endeavor. So in this sloka, the first thing the demigods say in this particular part of their prayer, you need no support. In other words, you don't need us. There's Indra controlling the rain, and there's the Vayu controlling the wind, and Varuna controlling the ocean, and there's so many demigods controlling every aspect of this creation. But Krishna doesn't really need any of them, but he engages them in his service because he's very merciful. Just as like, how many of you are parents and have children? I have a couple of them. Okay, you do. Yeah. And a lot of people do. And most of us, if you don't have it yet, you probably will later, most likely. Maybe not, if you're lucky, and you can maintain brahmacharya or brahmacharinya, whatever it may be. if you go to like on a vacation and you go to the beach with your kids and you're as the father and you have your 10-year-old kid with you and you start making a castle in the sand, I mean, you could make that castle all by yourself, no problem. You could probably do a pretty good job of it. But you let your son help you. Because, you love your son. And you want to, you have a relationship. And this is how you experience the relationship with your son, is doing something like this. That's generally how, in a mundane world, how parents relate to their children. So similarly, Krishna, he can do everything himself. He doesn't need anybody, but he allows us because he likes to relate to us. This is Krishna's. He likes, and we are similarly situated. We don't, unless something's wrong with you, you don't generally like to be by yourself. I mean, if you're just by yourself and you have no spiritual realization of Krishna in your heart, then solitary confinement in a prison is considered to be a great punishment for a reason. Because we're social beings, because Krishna is a social being. So we're part and parcel of Krishna, so we're also social beings. So we like to, have friends, and we like to, meet people and talk to people, and so on and so forth. So in previous ages, for self-realization, like in Satya Yuga, the yogis went off by themselves, but they had Krishna in their heart to associate. So they had quite a full person, the supreme person to associate with, so they were completely satisfied. And in the next yuga, Treta Yuga, it was like these sacrifices. And, quite a few people come around for these sacrifices. And so you're engaging in the process of self-realization with quite a few other people. And then in the next yuga, the deity worship. Okay, then, so many people come to the temple. You may be the pujari, offering to the deities their puja. But then so many people are watching, and then after the artik's over, there's the prasadam, and you can all sit around together and honor the prasadam, and that's part of the process of self-realization. In the age of Kali, we really get to see each other and associate. We are completely dependent. It's called interdependency. We all need each other to engage in devotional service. On our own, it's like a stick. It breaks very easily. But if you put many sticks together, very difficult to break. That's why this Mayapur temple, Mayapur Tendardaya Mandir, is a very special place, because Mangal Artik is full of people. Sometimes some of us think it's too many people. But Srila Prabhupada, I don't think Srila Prabhupada is thinking it's too many people. I think he's beaming in ecstasy when it's crowded, and when he sees the devotees struggling because it's so crowded. He's in ecstasy because my movement, ISKCON, is vibrant. So many guests are coming. So many people are sincerely chanting the holy name. I mean, he's even in ecstasy when the local villager guy when the ghee lamp comes around and he lunges for it and knocks 3 devotees down because he's so anxious to get the prasad of the ghee lamp. He sees that, and he sees the the strong desire, and he doesn't see, oh, he's being very rude and he should just wait for the ghee lamp to come around. It's going to come around anyway. You don't have to do that. But it shows a great, intense desire to, get some mercy of Krishna. This is very pleasing to the pure devotee. And so then what we perceive as distress, from a different angle of vision, it's great ecstasy. A pure devotee will derive great pleasure at seeing this, or maybe even experiencing this. I used to also be quite discouraged, like Gaur Purnim Day, and it's so crowded, unbelievable. It's tough. But wow, I just look at Srila Prabhupada and just think how happy he is, and how happening this temple is. So much preaching, and so many people visiting. Just like if you have a home, it is considered to be very auspicious if you get a lot of visitors coming to your home. So similarly, if you're in a temple and a lot of visitors are coming, that means, this very auspicious. You have a very nice temple. Things are going on nicely, and we have to give a lot of the credit to the pujaris here. I mean, it is such teamwork here for the pujaris and the pujari helpers from top to bottom. I mean, they are just doing an outstanding job day in and day out. You're never when the DDs open in the morning, it's like unbelievable. It's like it's just a regular day. But if you were in the West, what is it, Janmashtami? Govardhan Puja? Gaur Purnima? What day is today? And it's just an ordinary day here in Mayapur. The DDs, we're in the spiritual world. We're in Mayapur. We have special, a benediction of engaging in devotional service here. And if you live here and then you go to the West, it's like you go to your temple, wherever you may be, sometimes there's like 1 or 2 people in Mangal Artik, 3 or 4 in Srimad Bhagavatam class, maybe a dozen in Guru Puja. Something like that. And it's time for the Sunday feast, and everyone's begging you to cook a preparation. Whereas here in Mayapur, Gaur Purnim Day, you can simply cruise and enjoy yourself, and by chanting the holy name and hearing these pastimes of Lord Chaitanya, and guaranteed when the moon rises, there'll be a feast there for you to eat. And you didn't even have to help cook. Of course, you might have wanted to help cook. That's another story. But if you want to do service here in Mayapur, just like if you want to serve Krishna, Krishna doesn't need you. But if you want to serve him, he will engage you in his service out of love. So similarly here in Mayapur, if you want some service and you beg for it, you will get it. Because it's kind of difficult existing day in and day out when you're on the neophyte platform with nothing to do but be with your mind You've been through the whole morning program, you've chanted your rounds, you've heard the Srimad Bhagavatam class, you went to Guru Puja, Tulsi Puja. But then the rest of the day, if you're not on a high platform of devotional service, you need to engage in service. Shushusho Sadadanasya Vasudeva Kataruchi Shan Mahatsevya Vipra Punyatirtha Nishevana. By serving those devotees, like Srila Prabhupada in his ISKCON movement, here in Shridham Mayapur, by serving those devotees who are completely free from all vice, great service is done. So it's such a benediction to do service under the auspices of Srila Prabhupada's movement, ISKCON. And by doing it, the heart will become purified, and then one will be, if you don't have anything to do for some reason or other, you can relish Srimad Bhagavatam at 2 o'clock in the afternoon without falling asleep. Or you can engage in any act of devotional service and have no problem with you'll have no attraction for turning on the computer and doing what I do, going to CNN and seeing what's happening in the world or something like that, or going on Facebook or whatever. You know, people have so many ways they spend their time in this world in demigod consciousness. So when something happens and it causes one difficulty and you're in demigod consciousness, it's a benediction, because now, oh my God, you automatically go to Krishna. The demigods automatically go to Krishna when they're in trouble. But when there isn't any trouble, they're doing other things, enjoying themselves, and so on and so forth. So eventually we have to get free from this, these habits, so that we don't become demigods in our next life. Like that. So any questions or comments? I have to say one thing. I was warned before I gave class today. Don't say anything about women, and don't say anything about Guru Tattva. I think I avoided it, so I get some credit. Right? Hare Krishna. Any questions or comments? Okay.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, as you said, we live in Mayapur Dham, and sometimes we become complacent. Devotions, we forget that we are living in a special place, Dham, and we think that we are living ordinary place and just we do our own way. So how we can save ourselves from being complacent?
By associating with very advanced devotees. Seek out the association of advanced devotees, and then in their company you will not be distracted into performing other activities that are non-devotional, because they will deliver Krishna to you, because they have him and they will share him with you. Okay? Any other questions, comments? Okay. Now it's the biggest test. Are you going to be a demigod, or are you going to be a pure devotee? It's the rest of the day. It's up to you. No one's going to be watching you but Krishna in your heart. Hare Krishna.